time is for. Today, it's past noon. I've eaten, I've walked the dog, but I need to put on a face of makeup. So here we are. My skin has not been looking the best. It's discoloring for whatever reason in some places, like along the cheek, and got a little redness, a little rough patch. I just need to give a little bit more coverage than I normally do. Right now I have on the Dr. Jart, the BB, which is nice because it has the nice sunscreen for walking the dog. But we're gonna have a little more coverage. I noticed on my last video, I was having strange shadowing along the lip line. So we're just gonna try and do a little touch up for the Dr. Jart. I'm gonna start with the Fenty Beauty, the stick. Hopefully I'll use a little sponge, a little fingertip. Still smells good. I'm just checking everything that has emollients in it to make sure that it survived the move. So we'll just dab that on with a sponge. So I have been wanting to play with kind of spring tones, but I've just been having a little bit of an issue picking out the palettes that I want to use and how bold or how colorful that I'm looking. I just haven't decided on that. So I think this is going to be, I'm using old favorites and just gonna see if I can get a spring one, a little green, see what happens. So we're not, getting way outside the comfort zone today. We're mostly in the comfort zone. So I'm just taking the sponge around the lip line. One thing I do know, I have issues with the medication that I'm on. I really like, and I think good things will be happening with that. I think the way my body handles fluids has been off, so I think I have a lot more dry skin. But I think this medication is really going to be reducing inflammation. That's the hope, at least. So we are hopeful that some of this stuff that gets kicked up in the autoimmune category will get a little calmed down. That's the general hope of all of it. I don't think, I think I have a little bit of a runny nose from medication. I don't think that I have allergies per se here, but I guess we'll find out as we keep getting into the summer months, but it doesn't seem to be anything really going on allergy-wise. But I guess how would you know if it's allergies or not? But it doesn't matter, like if I'm inside for the most of a day or outside. So I think that it's just the medication. But anyway, so that my skin's drier here, which is kind of odd seeing as how, we're also still by the ocean, different ocean, but we're by the ocean and we're a higher latitude. And I don't know, you'd think that it'd be drier in California, but my skin seems to be drier here. So there is that. Also, because I have been a little less on the energy department, less on the spoons, I have been, rather than tweezing, I have been shaving my little chin hairs, etc. The peach fuzz, the chin hairs, all the things that everybody has but nobody wants. So there's been that. There's, could be irritation that way. So, those are things that all come together to really change how the skin is behaving. The other thing is, I'm on kind of a a low buy, no buy, but the thing that I'm missing the most right now is I do not have any more of the Tatcha cleansing oil. And I have little packets of that I got before that are like little sample packets. So I've been kind of using those, but since I've started wearing makeup back again, and I've been needing to remove makeup, it needs a little bit more than just, I have my cleaning cloth that helps a lot, but there's still like with the mascara and things like that, that needs a little help. And so I'm missing the Camellia cleansing oil. So if I ever get flush again, we'll go ahead and pick up some of that. I have been buying moisturizer and some eye cream. Sorry, getting a phone call on my watch. Let's say no to that. So it's one of those things that, you know, we're trying to use the things that we have and get by with that, and then at some point in time, hopefully the situation will change and we'll be picking up some other stuff. So it's kind of like the wish list and wait, but it's you know, it's economic disfortitude, I guess you could say. Okay, so we gave it a little bit more on the coverage side. I'm going to powder over that with we've got the Lawless in light one. And the pan just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's very exciting. Gonna use my BK Beauty brush and just a little bit of powder on all this, because we're gonna use powder products. And this powder does have a little bit of coverage itself and does the setting. And kind of takes down any tackiness from the cream. Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, so that was the Lawless. Now we're going in old favorites. This is the Sigma Cinderella duo. This is the blush and highlighter. Because I have the strange patchiness going on, I'm gonna not use any bronzer or contour. I'm just gonna try and keep the focus up here on the upper cheek area. And I wanted kind of the pop of color with this, in that sort of warm peachy, kind of liven me up. So the formula for the Sigma is always really nice. Very, very blendable, good color read. And I really like their palettes that they come out with. Usually they have a winter, a holiday duo or trio that comes out. And then with these, the collections. And they have a lot of favorites, like, or they have creator favorites that usually have a brush and a couple of different products. Those are really, really nice usually. Oddly enough, they are not my favorite brushes. I take that back. The ones in the collection are. I really love those. In fact, I'm using the one from the Cinderella collection. So those I really like, but some of their brushes that are just their singles are not my favorite, which is odd because they're really kind of the same brushes, but who knows, who knows. So let's put on a little bit of highlighter. So anyway, if you have a collection that you like, the brushes usually are nice and themed. The palettes are nice. The other things, the different, usually they don't have lipsticks, but usually they have lip glosses, things like that, at least lately. Okay. So we're looking at, for the palette, this is the ColourPop Limelight palette. So there's no mirror to blind you. It's just the cardboard packaging. But they have this light, so it's more of a brown peachy color, but that's gonna go in the crease for this. They have a mid-tone matte green, and then they have a couple of different green shimmers. I also pulled, you can probably see on my hand, these are both from the New Moon collection from ColourPop, Vampire Girl, and then It's Always Been You. And I was looking to see, the Vampire Girl is kind of the fiery, like the red, but with the golds and the kind of yellows, and the green. The Vampire Girl also has a green to it, but it's the duochrome. So depending on where you're turning it, you may or may not see the green. I was looking for something under the eye, and I think the fact that Vampire Girl is shifty works against it in this case, because I think when it's in its flamey state, the coppery orange, red, what have you, that it won't really go with the look. So I think we're gonna go in with It's Always Been You. And we'll start with that first, because this is the cream formula. So let's do that, and then we'll get our brushes out and do the powder products of that. So we'll start with this first, and then we'll do powder. So we're gonna go from the inner corner, and then along the mobile lid. And then up just a little bit into the crease on the inside. Okay. And we can layer over some of the lighter powders in the palette too. I just want to get this down. Okay. And depending again on where the light hits this, kind of depends on what the read of it is. And I think that's the only problem with the fun shifty colors, is sometimes it's shifting in a weird way. So you're like, I love the look here, but to here, no. So that's the only problem with the shifties. Okay, so let's go into the powdered now. And we'll do we'll do that debut, the sandy kind of color, warm sandy. And then we'll do that in the crease. I don't know if you can hear it, but my dog's in the background. She just sighed. She has this little waffle. It's super cute. We had a nice neighbor that stopped us on our walk that wanted to make sure that I knew that there was a little dog run in our apartment, the complex outside. And I did know, but it's very small. So it's like usually Mabel would rather go out and be in the world than be in the dog run. So most of what she's interested in is sniffing everything. So that's of the utmost importance. Okay, so I'm gonna take my finger really quick, and I'm gonna do Star Power, and just put a little bit in the corner first. I think this look is kind of moving around the order of things a bit, but that's okay. This palette reminds me of there's many favorites in my Rush catalog, the group, but Limelight is one of my ones that kind of speaks to the desire to make it in Hollywood, which is what we're trying to do, even though we're in New York now. I should be singing the start spreading the news, the New York, New York. Okay, so that's good for a start. We might have to come back to that. So we're gonna go in next to the matte green, and it is After Party. That's what it's called. So we're gonna do a lot of that lid and then up into blending into the other crease. And if this is one we wanted to do just in the light greens, I don't know, as it evolves we might shift over into the sparkly greens more. I do love a shiny lid, I do. Let's actually go there. There's Booked, and it's in the center, and it's the yellowy green. I just feel like that's calling my name. Whew. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's a... Okay, apparently Booked was the color I was looking for. My nails, I don't know. I did it's Mooncat, the Meowtech Industries, but I'm starting to peel, so it's time for a new mani. So I'm looking at doing that either today or tomorrow, because once things start peeling, then you're done for. Okay, so I really like that. That's exciting. So let's go in with the brush again and do the layout, which is the one deeper brown in here. I think I have a thinner brush. Okay, here we go. This is from the Beauty and the Beast collection, Sigma also. And this is not a very dark palette, it's really light. But I've got a brown liner that I'm going to bring into it. That'll give us some depth. Okay. Let's go into, and we might come back for some of the other, but this is the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal in Cocoa. What I like about these, they're not as long wearing as like the Laura Geller Kajal, but they do have the smudger tip on the ends that I do like. I like the colors that Victoria Beckham gets. They just don't have quite the ironclad phenomenal wearing power of the Laura Geller. Okay. I think it may rain this afternoon. I'm not sure. Over the weekend, we had some blustery clouds and some intermittent rain. Okay, there we go. I think I'm enjoying that. I do have from ColourPop other green kind of blingy palettes. I have the Tinkerbell palette that's also that, but I really wanted to use Limelight today. Okay, so let's put on some mascara and then we'll go to lips. The Better Than Sex as usual. Just to let you guys know what I'm doing also, I'm starting a Patreon for writing, writing for film and other visual formats, and I'll put a link for that if anybody is interested for that. There will be some free content also, so you can check that out. But that's what else I've been doing. I have a script that I'm working on right now that's a little outside of my normal genre, but I'm working on a World War II movie, so a little darker, well, more realistic, of course, because it's based on some actual events, but it just seemed like the time. Okay, here we go. Let's do lips. So I pulled out my favorite liner for a long time. Was the Glamlight Frosted Flakes liner. So we're gonna use that again. I've been having the worst FOMO of the new lip kits. First the Bratz, and then now there's new lip kits coming out. There was a Tiff lip kit, there's a Bratz lip kit, and now there's Barbie. She's having another Barbie collection. So I have some desires. Right now it's almost off, but I was wearing the Twinkies lip kit, the gloss for that. That's one that I'm actually almost done with the gloss for it. I have so many glosses, but that was such a staple over the last few months, and I love it. I love the smell of it. I love it's a very light, thin lip gloss, kind of like a lip oil, but gloss. And I really love it, and it just comes in the set. So at some point in time, I'll either need to be using the other glosses that I have, or I'll be needing to scratch up the money for a Twinkies lip kit. So we'll see what happens. Okay, just a little definition, and then wanted to, and it rolled off. Okay, the last thing, this is the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the iconic. It was from the Pinks collection. and it's very light. The thing about this that some people didn't like, it's got a little bit of texture to it. I don't feel it too much after I put it on, but you can feel it when you first put it on, as the texture. But the look is pretty awesome. That's why we needed the lip liner, because it does, if it's just by itself, it's very reflective and beautiful, but it definitely needs for the most part, you need a lip liner with it. Okay, so there we go. A little peachy, little nude, little green. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Spectacles, hello. So I'm really happy with how this is turning out. It's kind of a mellow look, but I like it. So we're ready to get the rest of the day going. We're only halfway through, so we got another half to go. I hope everyone is doing well. Comment down below if you want to weigh in on anything at all, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.